Spring Awards Assembly. And we are grateful that you are all here and that we have a number of guests who are here also to make presentations this evening. This is a wonderful time of the year for many reasons. It always comes at this time when we are just on the threshold of the last few weeks of school. The end is in sight. There's still work to be done, but we are at the point where we can see that our school year will quickly be coming to a close. And so we are always thankful for this point of the year because it really begins from here a number of events that are especially fun and exciting. The juniors leave on Monday for and not too long after that, the class of 2022 will be going on their senior class. Freshmen and sophomores will stay here and continue to be model students. Let me remind you of a couple of things, and these are important, so listen. The rule that I stated when I stood in this chapel during orientation many months ago, still in effect, especially tonight. When someone's up front here, this is, by the way, to our guests, it's in a little bit of a blunt manner that we express this so that people are clear. When someone's up here and they're speaking, your mouth is shut. Don't talk. Don't mess around. We'll wait for some of you to figure that out right now. Thank you. Someone's up front talking, you're not talking. It's not about you, it's about what's happening here and the people that are being honored here. And we're going to show respect to them as well as the people who are presenting. If you have a cell phone, you may have it out, students, to take a picture, but for no other purpose. We don't want to collect them this evening, but we probably could. So they're out for a photo or something like that, but other than that, no. Thank you for not having them out or for not having earbuds or whatever in. Thank you for that. This is, as I mentioned, a time when we celebrate together the accomplishments of our students. We are grateful that all of you are here and part of this school program and that you have made GCA your home throughout this school year. And especially for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, we look forward to the wrap-up of this school year and the new school year coming this next year. It's going to be a great school year. A really great school year this next year. So thank you for being here this evening. Let's start with a word of prayer. Let's bow our heads. Father in heaven, we're thankful that you have given talents and abilities to every person in this room. And we are thankful, Father, that throughout this year, you've blessed us with the ability to be part of this school and that you have helped us to stay focused on work and coursework that has to be completed. We pray that as we wrap up this school year, that you'll continue to be here and that your spirit will prevail on this campus. Thank you for these students and their families. I pray that you will be with us here this evening as we celebrate the accomplishments of so many of our students. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. To present a few ideas as we get started this evening, our registrar, Mrs. Hartwell.
Mr. Garrity found out that I could rap. He asked me to speak tonight. was actually a genius, and he was probably the most precocious intellectual child of his time. An average IQ for most people is somewhere between 85 and 115, and when he was tested, it was somewhere between 250 and 300 points. He was extremely smart. When he was 2, he could read English. When he was 4, he was typing in French. At the age of 5, he devised a formula whereby he could name the day of the week for any given historical date. At 8, he projected a new logarithms table based on the number 12. He entered Harvard at the age of 12 and graduated cum laude before he was 16. Mathematics wasn't his only forte. At this age, he could also speak and read fluently French, German, Russian, Greek, Latin, Armenian, and Turkish. During his first year at Harvard, the boy astounded the students and scientists with his theories on fourth-dimensional bodies. Smart guy. Such a wealth of information and talent. He could have changed the world. He could have made a difference in life others, but he chose not to do that. He didn't make a difference. Instead, he chose to mostly seclude himself away from all people and wasted the talent that he'd been given, not what we would think of as a success. And when I asked you if you'd heard of him, not one hand in this room went up, and yet he had all that talent. We're here tonight to celebrate things that you all have done. And so I want to start out by talking about some people who did some amazing things, but didn't start out that way. I want to talk about a few of those. The first one is Thomas Edison. You've heard of him, of course. But he did not have it easy. He actually tried 10,000 times before he made the light bulb. And he didn't look at that as failure. He said, I haven't failed. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work. So he persevered. He didn't give up and he worked hard. Then there's Franklin Roosevelt. When he was 39, he had polio and was paralyzed from the waist down for the rest of his life. He could have said, poor me, and done nothing, but instead he became one of our more memorable presidents of the United States. Oprah Winfrey is someone else I'm sure you've all heard of. When she was a child, she was repeatedly molested by her cousin, an uncle, and a friend of the family. She eventually ran away from home, and at 14, she gave birth to a little boy who died soon afterwards. But she decided that that wasn't going to be the future. She excelled and got honors in high school, and she won an oratory contest so that she got a full scholarship to college. Now she is an entrepreneur and a personality that just about everybody's heard of, and her net worth is $2.9 billion. Jim Carrey, I'm sure you've heard of. When he was 15, he had to drop out of school. His father was an unemployed musician, and he had to go to work to help support his family. They ended up living in a van. He could have said, life is a bummer. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to vegetate and see what happens. But he didn't. And now he's a very well-known comedian. Somebody else that we think of as very successful is Michael Jordan. No one, when he was a child, would ever have pegged him as an NBA player, let alone a superstar. He wasn't very tall, and none of his family was into athletics. And in high school, they wouldn't even let him join the basketball team because he was so bad. But people pointed out where he needed to change, and instead of getting upset about it, he decided to take it seriously. And he spent his off-season practicing hundreds and hundreds of jump shots until they were near perfect. One more person that I'm sure you've all heard of is Colonel Sanders of KFC. When he retired, he had a restaurant that was just about to go broke and a good chicken recipe, but nobody seemed to agree with him. He got in his own car and drove around the country, slept in his car at night, and made 1,009 pitches to different people saying, someone please help me with this. I want to start a restaurant, a really good restaurant with this recipe. And that 1,009th time, somebody listened to them. And now the company is worth multi-millions, and it's one of the top 100 brand names globally, not just in the United States. Why do you think he succeeded? He didn't give up. He persevered. He wasn't willing to hear people when they said no. He decided that he would work and work and work until he succeeded. And that's what I want to encourage you here to do tonight. We're celebrating things that people have done, and we're proud of those successes. We're here to acknowledge what you've done and to cheer you on. I want to encourage you to continue to achieve and to make a difference in your corner of the world. I also want to encourage those who do not get an award tonight, or those that really struggle. Life can be tough sometimes. Can throw you curveballs with your health, or your family, or your finances, or your ability to do well in school. But don't let those things stand in your way. You and God together can do some pretty amazing things. I want to talk about one more person, and that is a lot more personal. It's someone that I know very well, and it's my daughter. When she was a tiny baby, we started to realize right away that something was very wrong for her. She could hardly sleep more than an hour at a time. And for the first 10 months of her life, I was up just about every hour of the night with her. We called her the Pop-Tart. She would put her down and up she would come. She had a really hard time with sleep. She couldn't eat much, maybe 3 or 4 ounces at a time, and that's all her body could handle. And she just didn't do well with food. She didn't grow very quickly. When we touched her, she would shrink away because it didn't feel good to her. And when we would kiss her, she would wipe off those kisses, which made me feel really bad until I found out why. By the time she was in 3rd grade, she couldn't even read the assignments directions, let alone do the assignments, because reading was something she just had not been able to master. We didn't know what to do because there were a lot of other issues besides the ones that I've mentioned. My husband was at some meetings in Ohio, and while he was there, he was talking to a friend. Someone came up and joined their group, and they said, oh, this is a child psychologist from Loma Linda University. So my husband talked to that lady and said, can my wife call you? We've been having some things happen with our daughter that we're not sure what to do with. She said, sure, that'll be fine. So she gave him the number, and a week or 2 later, I called her and explained everything that had been going on. And she started giving me a long, long list of things that we needed to do and people that we needed to see. It was pretty overwhelmed. Hardly even knew where to start. One of the people that we started with was an eye specialist. We found out that she had problems with the muscles in her eyes. And so that's why she couldn't read. And so they had us come to do vision therapy, and we did it for 3 months. Every single day we did it, and once a week we would go back and they would see how she was doing and give us different exercises to do until she was able to use her muscles well and she could start reading and doing her homework. She worked really hard. Then we found a team of people that could evaluate her and help us know what to do for her so she could have a more normal life. We found out that she had sensory issues, learning disabilities, oppositional defiant disorder, and a list of other things. And they told us that she would probably never ever be able to leave home. Well, Abby heard them, and instead of saying, boy, nothing's going to happen with my life, it challenged her. She decided that that wasn't going to be how it was going to happen for her, and she worked really hard. All the people that helped us told us that if all their patients were like her, they would be out of business because she worked so hard. It took a lot of work and a lot of perseverance, but I'm a proud mom. I have to brag a little bit tonight. I am really, really proud of my daughter. She's done some amazing things. Not only did she leave home, She's been away living on her own for 10 years now. She has a college degree. She was on the dean's list when she was in college. She has a wonderful job and makes a lot more money than I do. I talked to her yesterday, and I asked her if I could share just a little bit of her story. She said that she would be honored if it would encourage anybody else to not give up. She wants you to know that struggles don't dictate your life. Struggles don't dictate your life. We all have them. She said that she hopes you can see and understand that just because the normal doesn't work for you, doesn't mean it will fail. I want you to know that you can reach your dreams and even change the world. We're celebrating tonight what's been done, and also what will be done in your lives in the future. I challenge you from today onward to get out there and fight for your dreams.
So let me kind of break down the next couple of segments of tonight's program. Our first group of awards or presentations will come from our community. Some of our guests that are here are going to come up and talk a little bit about their recipients and who they are and what the award is. But I'd like to go ahead and start us off with the Keep Calhoun Gordon Beautiful, and Denise Rustad is going to come up here and
well, I am from Keep Calhoun Gordon Beautiful, KCGB, which is now, as of last year, just affiliated with the Keep America Beautiful campaign, which is probably more popular in your mind if you've heard that. We are just a group of volunteers that come together because we care about our community, and we're committed to promoting a healthier, safer, more livable community through education, beautification, and environmentally sustainable projects and practices. And this year, now that we are in affiliation, we decided to, or we voted, to start a scholarship program for students in our community from the various high schools. So not just GCA, but also Calhoun High, Sonoraville, Gordon Central, and there may be another one in there that I'm forgetting. But they've decided to choose students from each of the schools that have volunteered for one of our community events in the past year, and took the time to apply for the scholarship. And this is a $500 scholarship for students who have volunteered at events, who have made a commitment to continuing working towards environmental sustainability and or community beautification. So the last 2 years, thanks to Chaplain Josh, several of UGCA students have come out and volunteered for the Arbor Day event, where we give out trees just before Earth Day we have hundreds of trees that we give out, hoping that people will plant them and rebuild our community of trees. And this year, it is our pleasure to award the $500 scholarship to Jacob W. Boyd. Yeah.
I would like to invite guests that we have here from the Chamber name is Lauren DePero, and she's going to tell us about the mock interviews that we've done earlier.
So as she said, I'm Lauren DePero with the Chamber of Commerce. We have a committee that is the Young Professionals Committee. Basically, it's just young professionals in our community, 45 and under. And we do this mock interview every year in hopes to help you guys with your resume, any questions that you have as far as, what to look for in, future jobs and things like that. And this is my favorite event we do every year. We do it at all 4 schools. And it's a $1,000 scholarship that we give. And this year the winner is Matt Dormis.
Raise your hand if you are a junior or a senior. Okay, keep your hands up if you were here in the school year, the 1920 school year. So for juniors, you would have been a freshman here, and seniors, you would have been a sophomore here. Thank you. And then, for those of you that have your hands up, you were all students here during that school year with Zach Negron. And it's okay. We lost Zach Negron December of that year after he graduated. And the soccer team and the gymnastics team has had ways to sort of remember him. And I love the soccer team's tradition of kind of gathering around the bush that now has that rock there with the plaque. We have the banner there on the tennis courts. Just he left a significant impact here because he was a leader in so many ways here on our campus. Dr. Briggs, I'm not sure if the quote is still on your board, but for a long time, we had even a quote from Zach that was up on that marker board, talking about how this used to be difficult. And I remember when this was hard. Thank you. So, it's, we take some time and we remember him, but I'm pleased and honored to have the Negron family here tonight to also continue to remember Zach and to also kind of award and recognize a lot of you guys who embody a lot of the same characteristics and the same values that Zach had while he was here as a student here at GCA. So I'd like to invite the Negron family up here. And please welcome them as they come up. I'll pass it off to you, Negron. Thank you so much.
In 2017, Zachary arrived as a sophomore at GCA, and he had so badly wanted to be here as a freshman, and we had made the decision that we thought he needed to wait a year. We just didn't think he was mature enough yet to come. During his graduation, when he responded, he was one of the seniors who responded, and he actually admitted in his response that evening that yes, he wasn't ready, that he really was too immature to come here. He graduated in August of 2020. It was an August graduation, primarily because of COVID. And in December, we lost him. My wife Jennifer and my daughter Marissa and we lost him in a car accident. What we realized was that Zachary's was highly influenced by his time at GCA. And so when our family was trying to figure out how best to memorialize Zachary and to remember him in a positive way, we knew that we wanted to remember GCA. Because GCA was then and continues to be such an inspirational and such an impactful school to so many people. Zach would come home frequently. He was a dorm student, and he would come home frequently, and as a typical student, he would have complaints about GCA, but they weren't mean-spirited in any way. It was simply he was tired. After he graduated, it was just one praise after another. But even though during the times when he would come home and he would complain about something, there were always praises about specific people that were impactful in his life. So we realized we needed to do something and give back. And so we created a memorial fund, and tonight we want to identify 4 people with $1,000 scholarships who exhibit the same character traits that Zachary did while he was here. Zachary was not the best athlete, but he worked extremely hard, okay? He was really good at certain academic areas, but for those that he wasn't good at, he still earned good grades, and the primary reason is that he worked really hard. When he was at work, he made sure that he was somebody who worked with integrity, so that when Dean was not around, Dean could trust him at all times. Those are the characteristics that are in the individuals that we want to identify tonight. And so tonight we have 4 scholarships of $1,000 each to give to 1 male and 1 female junior, and 1 male and 1 female sophomore. Eventually we hope to give out 6. When the endowment grows big enough, we will be giving out 6. And sophomores who will be turning, freshmen who will be turning sophomores will get scholarships as well. So at this time, I'd like to have my daughter announce the recipients of the $1,000 scholarship from the class of 2023.
So the recipients of the scholarship of the class of 2023 are Zabdi De La Cruz and Sophia Lynn.
TJ McFarland and Natasha Diaz.
How many of you have heard of GCA Scholars? About half of you, maybe. Okay, the GCA Scholars are made up of juniors and seniors, and we only let people in if they have a 3.7 cumulative average or have a high score on their ACTs, 30 or above. This group is a really highly intelligent group, and tonight we want to honor them for their grades. We have seniors, and then we'll do juniors, to, as soon as I ask you to come up, as soon as I call your name, if you would just come up. There's going to be people in front that you can get your certificate from, and you can come up here so that we can get a picture of everybody. Okay, please hold your applause until we're all done. Daniela Abreu, Irvin Bishop, Aaron Chen, Matthew Dormus, Riley Einhullen, Kitty Frost, Dana Holbrook, Nova Lee Huddleston, Caleb Lavoy, Elizabeth Mapp, Lisa Meadows, Seth Mitchell, Elijah Mock, Reagan Moore, Summer Nash, Savannah Perkin, Chi Fong, Zion Rome, Aaliyah Sargent, Corbin Schleisner, Raiden Scott, Christina Showalter, Madeline Showalter, Deja Sinclair, Matthew Taylor, Matthew Thomas, Luis Villarreal, Juliana Wilma, Megan Woodcock, and Zachary Woods. Those are our seniors. Okay, now for our juniors. Cody Anderson, Ileana Marzola. Okay, we're going to pause for a moment. While we're paused, I just want to say that I'm really proud of the hard work you guys have put in, because I know it's taken a lot of work to get a grade point average like that, and I'm really proud of all of you. All right. We're going to start over with the juniors. Cody Anderson, Ileana Barzola, Caleb Bogus, Azaria Carey, Jake Chalker, Leah Cunningham, Natasha Drea, Demira Flores, Oriana Flores, Aiden Garapi, Jessica Harris, Hunter Helvey, Dion Herrick, Ryan Kelch, Evan Lemnick, Sophia Lynn, Lori Mills, Eliana Morales, McKenna Roberts, Emily Self, Jesse Thompson, Hannah Walker, Alana Waters, Matthew Woodcock, and Harry Pugh.
All right. Good evening, everyone. First, I want to thank all of you that work for everything that got done this year. We couldn't have, GCA would not run like it does without each of you. So I want to thank you for working hard. I hope, just like you learned in the classroom, that you've learned something throughout the year about work. This year, I had 5 Worker of the Year nominations from a variety of staff. I had to narrow it down to 2. The easiest way for me to do that, if you can guess, was to see who didn't have a write-up for work. As of this morning, we're at 1,022. Next year will be better. All right, so I'm going to give out 2 awards. Each work supervisor said something about their work, and I'm going to read it. And each of these awards come with $50 cash. Okay, first one. This is from the supervisor. This student has been a great worker. She has set the bar very high. She is extremely trustworthy. She takes initiative and completes tasks that she wasn't even asked to do. The quality of her work is outstanding. We know there are more desirable jobs out there, so we're thankful she has stayed with us for 2 years. We have been blessed by not only her work ethic, but also her awesome character. This award goes to Leah Cunningham. Second one. Before I read this one, I just want to say that not only the supervisor, but I also heard their coworkers were recommending them as well. Okay. This student always shows up to work early every single day. They have never tried anything less than their absolute best. They are extremely knowledgeable in what they do and how they do it. Any student would respect and listen to the knowledge they have of their job. And this person has also been offered other jobs on campus, but has so far turned them down. Hunter Helbig.
Next award is the Community Service Award. The Community Service Award is given to a junior or a senior who embodies the mission of GCA, right? If you know this, the mission of GCA is to know, to love, and to serve. And we always are looking for people who just have the heart of ministry and have the heart of service. And this person has embodied that, not only off campus and doing service opportunities and creating service opportunities off campus, but also on campus, serving you, student body. And I know that you all have been impacted by the ways that this person reaches out. So without further ado, I want to present this award to Matthew. February seems like kind of a dull month. We're past January and everybody's been in the doldrums and the weather's not good. So years ago we started something called the Ramen Olympics in the guys' dorm. And it's something to break up the monotony of study hall. We do a different event each night and we have some winners and we ran out of ramen, so instead of giving ramen, we're going to be giving cash to the winners. Now for each event, they're going to call your name. When I call your name, please come up here and Mr. Garrity will give you your $5. The winner for carpet bowling was Ethan Maddox. For the paper airplane contest, TJ McFarland. And the playing card toss, Ethan Lopez. For the night we had knockout, Kurt Greenwich. For the basketball arcade, we had Luke Lewis. For the 100-yard dash, we had Malik Mapp. For knife throwing, we had TJ McFarland. And for foot juggling, we had Luis Villarreal. Now the biggest event we had during the Ramen Olympics is the Ramen Cook-Off. The three winners already got a cash prize. First place was $5, second place was $20, third place was $50. But because they were winners, they also get another prize tonight just for being winners. And third place for the Ramen Cook-Off was Andrew Self. And second place, who already won $20, was TJ McFarland. I assure you, it's amazing what you can do with ramen. He already won $50, but in first place was Micah Saul.
Every year, the music department announces their national awards. We will not be doing that this evening because our home shows are this weekend. So this weekend, during the Chorale Home Show, Ms. Nesbitt will be announcing the National Choral Awards. Saturday night, I will be announcing the Orchestra Award and the Band Award, the John Philip Sousa Award, as well as the Heart of Worship Award that goes to our Magnify Worship Program student. So we would encourage you to come to the final shows for choir and camerata and the band concert and Sinfonietta concert Saturday night. But we do want to honor someone this evening. This year we have had a wonderful opportunity to have a gospel choir on campus. And Matt I want you to come up and help me with this, Matt Dormus. We're not honoring Matt Dormus. Matt Dormus is going to help me. I'm not honoring Matt. But this gospel choir is student-led, and you all have heard them, and they are fantastic. And we are excited about what the future holds, and I'm going to let Matt kind of take over the rest of this, and we're excited about what they have to do next year.
So there's a wonderful person named Aaliyah Sargent, and on behalf of the whole choir, would like to say thank you for your leadership and dedication this year. First, we had maybe 5 to 7 singing engagements this year, and before each of those engagements, we'd do countless practices, like for maybe 2 to 3 weeks leading up to each one. And she wasn't getting paid to schedule practices or record parts or do any of that. So we really appreciate you for that. Second, I never remember hearing her raise her voice in any practice, because she just had the, I'm gonna wait for you to be quiet kind of attitude. It was like this motherly, authoritative presence, and she would wait for her children to be quiet. And it was really good, because she was younger than some of us, but she just knew how to be that leader when it counted the most and to get things done in practice. And third, she relied on God. She wasn't trying to find opportunities for us to sing in. She would just wait for God to ask somebody to do something, and then she'll be like, wherever you lead us, God, will go. And so, Leah, I'd like to call you up and would like to say thank you.
Core concepts that I was trying to teach throughout this year. Harvard University did a study back in the early 2000s called Project Zero. And within this, they came up with 8 different categories called the Studio Habits of Mind. This has been used across curriculums and different things. Throughout this year, maybe without my students even knowing, I'm just going to read off these 8 areas. You can always do further research on your own. Understanding art worlds. That's, all those fun YouTube videos we watched, and dialoguing with modern and past. Stretching and exploring. This is where you're challenged to try things that is not always comfortable. Reflecting on your work. Observing things around you. Currently, the students are finishing up a My Vincent project. They have been working for a very long time on these pieces, and it's very frustrating learning from other artists and trying to replicate what they do. This is where, this is where observation and learning to see comes into play. Expressing how they express themselves in different projects. Envisioning what they want to create. And this one, which we've touched on, Mrs. Hartwell talked on it, is, I would say, the most important, which is engaging and persisting. Art is not an easy subject, life isn't easy either. And one of the things that you can take away from it is that you engage in what you're doing and you persist, even during difficult times. Even if you think your project looks like crap, you keep moving forward, because the lessons you're learning, just like she referenced Edison, of the 10,000 times he failed, but it actually taught you 10,000 different ways not to do something. And that information is invaluable. So I would like to call up 4 individuals. Abby Perez. Santana. Just a quick thing in case you didn't know, Betsy is not in my class and Michaela is not in my class, but Betsy is such a force to reckon with. She has been doing artivism, which is art and activism, quite frequently throughout campus. She even has her own little crew, which I call my auditors, in class. Michaela has been independently and has been hired and is creating NFTs, which if you don't know what those are, you should definitely dive in and look a little bit. So let's give them some props. Thank you.
And it was very obvious to Mrs. Scott and I as we chatted about this award. The person we're giving this award to has spent literally hundreds of hours on our yearbook. It looks amazing. He's put in so much work to every little detail, and you guys will get to see it here soon with essay slideshows as we pass it out. I don't think he's here tonight, but our yearbook award is going to Zach Woods.
So all my students know that I love them very much, and I would have a very hard time picking a best student for these awards. However, I didn't have to do that because it's based entirely on their grade, and it was very competitive. I have talked in my classes about how important every point is. For A&P, the top 5 were all within less than 2% of each other, and the top 10 were all within less than 4% of each other. However, we have one award for A&P, and it goes to the very top grade, which belongs to Maddie Showalter. Advantage of every point opportunity she had. The same can be said about the biology students. It was actually closer in biology than it was in A&P. The top 5 were within 1.5%, and the top 10 were under 4%. So it's very competitive there. We had a lot of students that took advantage of every point that I offered. But the very top award goes to the very top grade, which is Aurora Bird.
The person who has earned this award has the highest grade, in spite of having to be there early in the morning. And not only does this person have the highest grade, this person always walks in with a smile and a unique greeting. She always says, "Good morning, Dr. Briggy-Wiggy." So, the Physical Science Award goes to Malia Edwards. Because the top 3 or 4 were all within less than 1%. A couple of them within like 0.2%. Scary, huh? We got a lot of good people in there. And unfortunately, this person is not here tonight, I've been informed. However, the chemistry award goes to someone who not only has a great grade way up there, but who has asked a lot of questions, like to the point that I get stumped, and also to the point that we go off on wild tangents, which is a lot of fun. So, the chemistry award this year goes to Aiden Garabee. Asked me if I could find him a video to show him some of those atomic orbitals. That is just asking for punishment. All right. The Physics Award. The proof that physics is PHUN fun. Goes to, again, the highest grade. Also the person who is very able to spot my mistakes on those few occasions I make them, and point them out to me gently enough that it doesn't bother me. This person is always on top of the math, and in fact told me that he's planning to go to college to major in math, and that is Aaron Chen. It's a joy to teach them. For Spanish 1, our recipient is Alana Waters. And our Spanish 2 is Aaliyah Sarge.
And then I'm also going to give out English awards for freshmen and for sophomores this year. The recipients, I know that the freshman recipient is a hardworking student, and she pursues excellence at whatever she puts her hand to. She tries to do an excellent job and succeeds. And it's a joy to have her in the classroom. And that would be Amarachi. Hardworking, and the recipient is Marley Mitchell. Who are interested in going a little deeper in literature and possibly preparing to go into AP Lit. And it's really hard to pick just one. There's a lot of good grades in the class, and there's a lot of good, thoughtful thinkers in the class. But in reading the analysis that they've started to do and all this stuff, I really feel that Dion Herrick stands out. AP Lit, and these are students who have chosen to obviously go a lot deeper into literature, and they spend a lot of time extra beyond what normal English classes do in reading and their homework. They have read 10 books this year. They have filled up a journal full of analysis. They have written 4 papers over 4 different books that go deep into analysis. Anyway, they've done a lot of stuff. And they're really good. They make me think with the questions they ask and with the things that they write in their analysis. And it's really hard to pick one, but I really appreciated Megan Woodcock this
So, I've never gotten to do this before because they don't do Bible awards. So this is really exciting. I've had the immense honor of teaching world history to 65 awesome students this year. And I'll admit, we all know, some of you guys have enjoyed it more than others, but I want to take a moment here and just appreciate the fact that there are a number of you that have been pushing academically and just going for excellence in this class. And there are a number of you that are just amaze me with the questions and insights that you bring up in class. We're talking about some heavy topics or some strange topics or some maybe like we've never heard of or we've heard of it a million times. And it was really difficult for me to narrow down who would get this award because there are so many really good candidates. But as I was thinking about those kind of two criteria and evaluating all the candidates, one stood out to me for both categories. And this student not only regularly achieved high scores, including taking advantage of extra credit on tests or quizzes and even getting over 100% on tests and quizzes at times. But this student has also not only asked deep, intuitive questions in class that have made me think, and I feel like I'm copying what Dr. Bruce said, but intuitive questions and fun tangents. Like, tangents are awesome in these classes. But this student has also been a role model and a leader in group projects to their peers. And so I would like to just honor Monica Flamenco tonight.
I have the pleasure of teaching U.S. history. It is definitely one of my favorite classes ever to teach. And I've got a great group this year. Really excited. I'm excited to take you on a field trip on Monday. I'll be back on a regular trip there, so that's going to be really good. But we have an award to give out. Not easy choices. I've got really high achieving juniors, and again, came down to a really tough choice. Very, very close for the top, my top students there. This student is not one of my most outspoken students, but also asks very good questions when they do have questions, and has actually averaged over 100%, 101.88% on tests this year. So not just that they got over 100 on a test, but they averaged over 100% of my tests. And so this year I'm going to give the U.S. History Award to Jessica Harris.
History and social studies before we get started. Economics and government, after extensive conversation with Mrs. Vajikas, talked about which seniors just have the best questions, the best insight, the best grades. And all I can think of was I have never had a senior class that has stressed more on every single little detail, but never got anything wrong. And also my most humorous conversation with the students was after we talked about retirements and 401ks and how to then Roth IRAs and all of these things. And the student was in my office the next day, so excited, saying, "Mr. I cannot wait to retire." Daniela Abreu, I wish... They're a very, very strong group. The spectrum is long. Anyway, our favorite things generally about the math students are the ones that A, they know all the answers, but B, they're helpful to everybody. These are the kids that, the rest of you send me those pitiful emails. Please let me sit by Drew Rossfield. I got to choose or be a part of the selection for the sophomore Mouth Awards. Jordy's been eyeing me up all night. He's like, "It's me, right?" And then I pointed, I was like, "It's Josh," and that's not true. But they're both great. They're both great. They both do amazing in my class. When I was looking at people to choose for this award, I was looking at there are quite a bit of sophomores are an interesting group when it comes to math because there's this range. There's some people that are maybe in Algebra 1, there's some people that are in Geometry, there's some people that are Algebra 2, there's some people that have taken Algebra 2 and are still in Geometry. So I was kind of looking at people that have done the most at this point and done the most successfully. People that do an incredible job in my class, ask meaningful questions, track with what I'm doing, dive into like the greater concepts, why this is working, not just going through the motions to make it work. Take great notes, all these things you guys know, I love my notes. So, the recipient of the Sophomore Math Award is Kat Luttrell.
Present the Junior and the Senior Math Award. I've been blessed to be able to, this is my 14th year at GCA, and the first 6 of it was primarily just as a math teacher teaching all of the classes that we had here math related. I think we had a couple part-time math teachers, but I just love seeing how we've grown over the years with having 3 people on campus who can teach math. We used to teach AP Calculus, and one thing that COVID did for us was push a lot of schools to go online, especially colleges, which meant that Southern was able to offer Calculus 1 to us online, to our students, and so we started that last year. So when I go back, way back into AP Calculus, we had a couple of juniors a long time ago take AP Calculus from me here and pass it, and then take the equivalent of an AP Calculus 2 their senior year, but they kind of did it on their own. Really, I haven't really been involved with any kind of Calc 2 material since I took Calc 2 in college. And I think Mr. Herr and I kind of are in the same boat where whenever students would come to us for Calc 2 help this year, we just said, I remember hearing about that topic. I'm sure I learned it once, but I'm sorry, I may not be able to help you much. We have 2 students, actually, that took Calc 2 as juniors here at GCA. Just taking Calc 2 as juniors here is just an amazing fact and an amazing feat. And I actually was at Southern today talking with their teacher. And I just want to recognize the 2 of them. I had 1 award, but I do want to recognize 2 because I think it's worth recognizing how incredible this is. And I want to start by, first of all, recognizing Gabe. Gabe actually went the farthest distance in the shortest amount of time. He was in pre-cal first semester. And then said, no, I'm going to take CLEP, and then Calc 1, and then now I'm in Calc 2. Kind of, what, in 2-3 months' time? In a month. Yeah, he screamed through all of that. So I just want to make sure you hear me say that is amazing, and I know, Gabe, the amount of tutoring you do in the library is helpful, and people appreciate you. So let's give it up for Gabe real quick. The other person, I think, destroyed the curve at Southern. He just told me just this evening that he scored 101% on the last test and doesn't have to take the final anymore. And I mean, again, a junior taking Calc 2 at Southern, and this award goes to Evan Lamnick. To circle back to the seniors as you know, going down to Calc 1. But it's still worth noting here that most Academy high school students go through like a pre-calculus or a statistics class and then goes to college to start calculus and the series in there. And I have to say that we had a good little group of Calc 1 students this year. They did it first semester. They finished by December, and then they were sort of set free. As we've noted, you know, Evan was in that group and kept continuing on in Calc 2 as a junior, but this group of seniors were dedicated. They were in the library studying, and I could list several people. But when I got a hold of the professor at Southern and kind of asked what his thoughts were, he sent me back Dana Holbrook.
We are going to kick off sports, but before we do, I do want to say one more thank you to our coaches for this season. We've got staff coaches, but we also have volunteer coaches who sacrifice time with family. Coach Ballard driving all the way from Chattanooga, we've appreciated that sacrifice. And I just want to say thank you to all my coaches back here who are about to come out. And appreciate you guys and all you do. All right. We will start off chronologically with volleyball, and we're going to have JV volleyball coaches, Coach D and Zion. Come on.
All right. So Zion and I were chatting quite a bit about who to vote as our MVP. Between the two of us, we were brainstorming, and I started thinking about certain qualities that I was seeing in players really early on. You guys got to understand, when we started doing tryouts, I was basically getting to meet all of you as we were trying out. So I was relying a lot on Zion and just seeing how people interacted. And from day one, this individual exhibited amazing skills on the court, was a great leader, rallied the rest of the girls when things weren't looking good, kept things humble when things were looking good. They were an amazing player to have on the team.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about winning. So I just saw a lot of really good athleticism out of this person, and just such great leadership. And this person always listened to me because I'm not the easiest person to listen to. And when I yelled a lot, this person never, said anything. They always were just so easy to work with. And just every practice, he would leave me alone, and I would stress out because I was nobody's gonna listen to me. This person would always rally everyone, and it was just such a great experience working. Yes, this person was very coachable, and it was just such a great experience, and it really made me this is one of my favorite things I've ever done in my whole life, and it made it such a And this person just made that experience 10 times better. So we would like to give this award to Valerie.
Lady Jags volleyball.
Given the opportunity to coach a very outstanding team. We almost had them girls, almost, but okay. Each one of them had a specialized position, so really, I can really say they all were the best. But since I have to pick one, this time will be Nancy Turan. One that really impressed me is when she got hurt playing at CA, and she came back and she went to every practice even though she was hurt, and not only did she go to the practice, but she helped whoever was subbing her to learn the very hard position. She was our team captain, and Nancy was a very caring leader. As a player, she was very coachable, was aggressive at middle blocker, and even though she played mainly middle, she was a 6 rotation player. She's a good example of an all-around athlete.
Thank you, Coach Fowler. All right, it is now time for our new sport, which we appreciate Coach Lawson taking on, cross country.
Which is ironic because I'm a teacher, so I'm very nervous right now standing in front of you. But I'm going to do my best. I want to honor a couple of people. It was a lot of fun doing cross country this year, and I really didn't know what I was doing because I never ran cross country, and I've obviously never coached it before, but I thought, hey, this would be something fun to do, and I think it would benefit a lot of people, and so I did it, and it's by far one of the most fun I've ever had, like the funnest years I've ever had coaching. This particular group, we had a really fun group and I had a lot of camaraderie, and I just really enjoyed it. It was so much fun, and it was an honor and privilege to be able to coach them and watch them grow as runners and as athletes. So the first one, I'm going to start with the girls, and I just want to talk about this, this person just a little bit, just to highlight their success. They showed up on tryouts, and they did not look like a stereotypical runner, did not have the frame, did not have the build for it, but I could tell she had a lot of grit and determination. And that's what I look for in athletes, whatever I'm coaching, just the willingness to push themselves and sacrifice their mind and their bodies. And really, the thing that I remember the most about, well, there's a couple of things. This runner, she would run, and I would put her through intervals, tempo training, like really tough training. And it would be exhausting, and then I would see her in the weight room lifting weights. And I just remember one meet in particular. It was the Lafayette Rambler, and you looked at our runners compared to everybody else, and we looked like we didn't know what we were doing. It was a bunch of short, stocky girls, and we had these really long, tall girls that looked like they were going to smoke us. And so we start going, mile 1, I see this runner out and leading the charge, and she seems like her pace is going a little bit too fast, and I'm very concerned. And I'm trying to communicate with her, but I don't think she's listening at all. I think she's just in the zone. Mile 2, she's still leading. Mile 3, she's still leading. Half a mile to go, she puts on the jets. I'm like, calm down. You gotta leave something in your gas. And I was trying to communicate that to her. Obviously, she didn't listen. It was like a dead sprint for a half mile. She ended up winning the entire meet, collapsing right at the finish line. And it was just a joy to be able to coach her. And I want to give this award to Dahlia. sport that can be very tough and grueling. I mean, you got to think about it. You're just going out there and running, and you're doing sprints, right? And it's just continuous, and it can be really hard. And you can get easily defeated, right? And he always did a really good job of keeping the mood light, coming up with these really dumb, goofy chants, and just making sure everybody had a smile on their face. He was always positive. He was always on time, and he always pushed himself. He was one of the most improved runners this year. He had a very subpar, mediocre tryout, but by the end of the year, he was running very, very strong. Always on time, always pushed himself. To great sacrifice to his own personal body. I remember after we did a tough interval workout, and he was vomiting on the side of the track, and just really wanted to. He just exhibits everything you want out of an athlete, pushing themselves physically, mentally. And it was once again an honor and a privilege to have coached, and this one goes to Aaron Chin.
Before you leave, we would like to show a little appreciation. We didn't get to do this like we normally do at the end of the season, but we would like to show appreciation in the form of plants and a nice gift. Some of you might be wondering, next year, with Coach Lawson leaving, some of you might be wondering, we'll see if we can find a coach. So, all right, Luke has volunteered to be the coach. Thank you. All right, and now we have ladies varsity basketball.
I'm going to definitely give that plant to my wife later, and I'm going to take full credit for it. She loves plants. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's hard to determine who an MVP is in basketball, and this is probably one of my, it's really hard. Do we do it by stats, right? Is it the stat sheet stuffer, right? Otherwise, then LeBron James would have won this year, and his team didn't even make the playoffs, right? Is it the glue girl that does all the little things that nobody else is willing to do? Is it the leader who inspires, who encourages? And so I really struggled with it this year, so I allowed my team to vote. And, who do you think the MVP was of this season? So, I just want to talk about this player a little bit. She's been a joy and privilege to coach the last 3 years that I've had the opportunity to see her progress. She has fulfilled this year a lot of multiple roles for us. Everything from point guard to power forward. Did whatever I asked her to do without hesitation and without any reservations. She exhibits everything you want out of a player. Hardworking, sacrifice. I never had to beg her to push herself. She had a willingness to be coached. She wanted to learn. She was always asking questions, and she always wanted to do it the right way. And so that was what impressed me the most. And she was also, as we made the transition to man defense and started full court pressing, she was always tasked with either guarding the team's best dribbler or the team's best overall player. And reflecting back on the season and the senior night, I can say she was probably one of the biggest, I don't know about the biggest, but one of the most contributing reasons as to why we won that game. She guarded the team's best player, and their best player was, I just remember sitting on the sideline watching their best player walk down the sideline, because she was so exhausted, because this player just put her through the ringer, and she wasn't tired at all, had a smile on her face, and actually ended up fouling out of the game, and I was just so proud of her in that moment. I wish it's those type of players, you just wish that you could keep coming back year and year and year, but I have enjoyed my time with her this year, and this one goes to Raiden Scott.
When it didn't seem possible to come back, he always gave 100. And 10%. As a coach, you want this from every player. This leading by example is what you want in a captain. He was also our most efficient player in that he rarely turned the ball over. I'm sure Coach Tagliabue will strongly consider him next year for varsity. I am happy to present this award to Joel Fall. Coach Tagliabue.
Reminded me of family. Look around you. Juniors, sophomores, freshmen, seniors, you're all family. And you lose some family members each year, you gain some more. And as family members, sometimes you get along, sometimes you don't. You make friends and frenemies, but you're still family. You love each other, encourage, and you forgive. Speaking of which, I want to use a word that my wife attached to me 20 some odd years ago to describe the young man that's going to be through legacy. Our team is a family, and as such, we've had ups and downs, and not so good times, and some great times. We've accomplished some things this year we haven't done in many years. Our competitors know we're here now. We're going to lose some of our family members as they graduate as seniors. Find your passion and follow it, guys. In giving this award, I want you to think about this word, obstreperous. I've been called obstreperous most of my life. Guided in the right direction, it can be a positive. And if it goes astray, it can cause problems. But we're a family. We love each other, we forgive, we guide, we direct. So, the last 2 years I've been watching my young men and learning from them, and we've progressed. And the one person that stood out again this year, who fits that description to a T, Bobby Obstreperous Martinez. Come on up.
Coach Bogus come out with his words.
Should have been given out Saturday. And I'm big enough to own my own mistakes. I had made up a list. I don't know how I missed this person. It's one of my favorite people on the team. He's been on the team with us for a while. But the other coaches and I talked about it. We said, oh, whew, it's a good thing it was him. Because some people would be really offended. And he's going to be okay. So, I want to say a few words about Corbin Schleisner, who's been a great part of my team, always working hard, positive sportsmanship, everything, always works for his skills. Corbin, come on up. I'd like to give you your seat. Our next award is for our Akron Flyers MVP. This is an award that is voted on by our team and is incredibly deserving. This person always works hard, has really exhibited skill and technique and strength and all of those things combined. So many things that I could say. I was privileged enough to be able to do a hand-to-hand with him all year. So I should give it away. If not, get me a occasionally came late. But worked hard when he was there, put his whole heart into everything. Seth Mitchell, come on out.
Soccer, we will start with the guys, Coach Clint, followed by Coach Albert.
Defensive Player of the Year. Through the years, we've had some of the most amazing defenders come through our program. Our team, these past few years, have been a very defensive-minded team, making it hard to crack the line. This year, nothing's changed. We've been blessed with 3 of the best defenders in our league. However, one player stood out. He showed humility and tenacity, all while being a true Tennessee fan. Seth Mitchell. This year was hard for any player since we changed formations and for some completely different positions. One player took it upon himself to put the extra work in, and because of it, flourished in our system. So the offensive player of the year is Lou Villarreal. Our next award is the Golden Boot, which is really the person who scores most goals. So there's 2 criteria for the person who scores the most goals to get this award. Number 1, they got to score goals. And number 2, they got to score at least 6. So this year, I believe it's only one player this year that's gotten the 6. So this year's Golden Boot recipient is your new captain, Matthew Whitaker. This year, this award is a special award. This award stands for everything that I have tried to teach these guys the past 15, 16 years, I don't remember how long. The same stuff that we learned while I was at GCA. The 3 things that I drill into my guys are God, family, and GCA. When I look at this award, I look at hard work, leadership, teamwork, spirituality, and positive leadership. Usually it is, oh, sorry, that's player of the year. Let's go back to stats. When I look at this award, the award represents spiritual growth, hard work, teamwork, personal achievements, and they follow the family mantra that I've been preaching for all these years. The same things that embody what Zach stood for our team. This year's Zach Arone award goes to 2 recipients. Zabdi De La Cruz. This award is a very special award, like I said. So of all the things I said previous about
When I look at this award, it looks for leadership, teamwork, spirituality, positive leadership. Usually it's not someone who wins a bunch of awards. However, things change. This year we are blessed to have someone who has done all of the above. The 2021 and 22 Player of the Year, Mike Wallop Nesmith, Calvin Nesmith.
So I'll start off with the Offensive Player of the Year. The recipient of this award has grown into her role on the field. She has made plays where opponents have had to guard her closely. And even times, I believe myself, have fear of getting even close to her because of her kicks. Whenever we felt that we were being overwhelmed, I would say, it's okay, we're going to send in our bruiser. She has been great in offense this year with her free kicks and goal kicks. Nancy Terrain. Defensive Player of the Year. The recipient of this award is one at which I had for all 4 years. Her first year on the team was a year where she was still getting used to her surroundings and also had tough competition in her spot. This year she came back even stronger, even faster, made her position hers to keep always, and made my defense even better. This year's recipient is Christina Showalter. Golden Boot. The recipient of this award is the rookie of the team. Both Coach Glenn and myself were excited to have her on the team, even when she was in 7th grade, so we had to wait 2 years. She struggled a little at first, but once the first goal went in, that hasn't stopped her at all. I'm sure in the future she'll continue to be scoring and be a scoring machine. With 5 goals to her name, including 2 free kicks, 1 penalty, and 2 goals. The recipient of this award is Carla Allen. The Zach Negron Award. The recipient for this award has improved a lot from her first year. She has embodied it to its fullest. I always saw her running out on the field or even kicking the ball by herself. Has always had a positive attitude even though running is not fun for her. Her skill and endurance improved a lot because of the work she's put in. This award goes to Megan Woodcock. Player of the Year. The recipient of this award is one that this year I have leaned on heavily. They say actions are louder than words. This speaks true for her. This whole season she has played a combined 800 minutes and has not been subbed out at all. She has maintained her focus in the whole game, even at times when the gap was pretty big. She still played like it was still 0-0. I have never had to worry about her unless she got hurt and she asked to come out, which she never did. Always positive, uplifting, and wanting always the best for the team. The MVP award goes to Riley Ainelli.
Present the next 3 awards. And these 3 awards require a lot of discussion and debate amongst the coaches. Decision is not made by one person. We have a lot of different coaches, not only watching within varsity, within acro, you know that some of these coaches take part in intramurals. So we like to consider everything when making this decision. So, get started with Female Athlete of the Year. This young lady is a 3-sport athlete. She has already received awards from 2 different coaches tonight. In volleyball, she dominated at the net. Basketball, she helped defend down low. And in soccer, she was relied on for her strong kick. She not only led with her physical skills, but with her competitive spirit. I'm happy to present this award for Female Athlete of the Year to Nancy Turin. Male Athlete of the Year. This award goes to a young man who not only displays strength, speed, and athleticism, but also does it with humility. He excelled and even dominated at times in intramurals, varsity, and agro. Like Nancy, he too has received 2 awards already tonight from his coaches. This shows how valuable he is to multiple programs. There's no question that his hard work and practice and in the weight room has led him to this point. I'm happy to present this award, Male Athlete of the Year, to Seth Mitchell. All right, we are missing Coach Fox this year, but his legacy is going to live on, and it's going to live on in the students who demonstrate good sportsmanship, because that's what he was all about. The Wally Fox Sportsmanship Award is what we are presenting now. All right, during 43 years of service to GCA, Coach Fox modeled good sportsmanship. He knew that one's actions out on the court, field, or tumbling mat reflected their character. He knew that we not only represented ourselves, but we also represented our school, our family, and most importantly, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Whether you realize it or not, people are watching. I encourage all of our GCA athletes to be a witness for Jesus. The recipient of this award has done just that. She, like Coach Fox, models what it looks like to be a Christ-like athlete. As the AD, I am very proud that she is on GCA's team. I hope that her teammates and those in the stands will take her lead how we should treat each other. We have witnessed her kindness and encouragement through wins and losses. Her teammates will agree that she's an excellent choice for this award. We will miss her and know that she will continue to be a positive example to others. I am proud to present this year's Wally Fox Sportsmanship Award to Raiden Scott. to finish off, and we've been doing this now for 4 years. Calvin Scott, Angelina Nesmith, Cameron Morrison, and of course Raiden Scott will put this up in the trophy case. Keep track of this. This is important. I hope you guys take her lead, take their lead, take Coach Fox's lead. Be a good sport. Thank you.
Coach Peterson, we have Ms. Mitchell here from the Booster Club who would like to say a few words.
On behalf of the Booster Club, the students, the coaches, and all of GCA, thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your long hours, from the early morning practices to the late night post-game cleanups, coordinating game schedules and practices for 9 teams, and most importantly, the way you exhibit a Christ-like character in all you say and do. We see you and we appreciate you. Thank you very much. We'd love for you to sign the bottom of this signature.
Thank you.
All right, let's bow right in prayer. Father God, we just thank you so much for the talents exhibited here in this room tonight. And just so many more that could easily have been mentioned in conjunction with those who are honored here. We're proud of this GCA family. We're proud of the accomplishments. And we just know that you've given these talents to each one of us here. We know that, as Mrs. Hartwell said at the beginning, that we need to do something with these talents. We need to go out from here and be a witness, to inspire, to challenge, and to grow. So we thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for giving us the opportunity now, this evening, to celebrate each other. And thank you for blessing us through this school year as we look here just a few weeks to wrap it all up. We thank you. We love you. And we pray amen. All right, you're dismissed. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.